blow this town to smithereens! Time bombs! Try to get up there in time, Spider-Man!
Atari is iconic. Whenever anyone mentions Atari, people think of, the old games, like, the terrible controller, Pong, Centipede. But some people, when they hear Atari, they think of My Horse and Me for the Wii. So Atari has gone through a bit of a metamorphosis. At one point in time, they were the juggernaut of retro gaming. Then they were bought out by Hasbro. Then Hasbro was bought out by a company called Infogrames. Then Infogrames changed their name to Atari. So Atari went from being owned by Hasbro to owning Hasbro. Who the fuck is Infogrames? And let's just say that the stuff the new Atari published is not nearly as iconic as their old stuff. And today, we're going to play a nice handful of them. But because there's so many games, we're going to be using a wheel to determine which ones I play. But first, some ground rules. No Matrix games, because I'm already planning on doing a video about Matrix games. And no Atari anthologies. I mean, the whole point of this is to be looking at the new stuff, not the old. So without further ado, let's begin with Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines is one of the many movie tie-in games that Atari published, and we're going to be playing the PS2 version. This isn't a PS2 controller. We started up the game, and in case you thought I was lying for whatever reason, there's no mistaking that. We actually have a special features section here on the main menu, which is neat. You can input cheats. I don't know any of the cheats. You can actually unlock old school Atari games in this, for some reason. No other game that will be discussed in this video has this. I guess Atari was especially proud to have their name on this game. Now, I haven't seen Terminator 3 yet, so I'm going to assume that everything in the opening cutscene is not very close to the actual movie, because tie-ins like to do that. Ever seen Spider-Man 2? The game has Mysterio in it. I'll give this chart for which Spider-Man 2s have Mysterio in them. You can figure it out from here. What I understand is that this is John Connor, this is the Terminator, and this is a shitty game. The most you can say about this game is that they actually got Arnold to voice the Terminator, instead of doing what other tie-ins often do.
Hey, buddy. MJ and I had a bet going on whether you would actually show up.
That's not James Franco. I like this loading screen. I don't know what it is, I just like it. So getting into some actual gameplay, these controls are loose. So loose, in fact, they're all gonna fall off. It's probably just a result of standard controllers not being the definitive method for FPS games, but this just feels wrong. Also, I only played for about 2 minutes because, I don't know, I have ADD. Either I wasn't paying attention or the game just straight up lost me.
Fantastic.
Driver 3, or Drive 3R, is another game I didn't play much of, but for a completely different reason than Terminator 3. Because if you look at this here, my emulator wasn't really a big fan of this one. Alright, time to pick a name. Strumbo. So we have 4 options on the main menu. Undercover, Take a Ride, Driving Games, and Options. I picked Take a Ride just so that I could get used to the gameplay. Miami is our default option. I'm not gonna change that because I don't know what the Miamians will do if I change it. You can change the time of day, weather, whether or not there are cops, and you have plenty of vehicles. Car, boat, motorcycle, motorcycle, car, taxi, car, truck, van, car, truck, bus, truck, boat, and boat. The gang's all here. I'm gonna go with the first option just to get a feel for the controls. And if you thought my emulator didn't like this game, then take a look at this. Download the PCSX2 emulator today. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna play this game if this is what I have to deal with. So, next game. Beyblade V4 actually brings us over to the GameCube instead of the PS2. A nice change of pace if I do say so myself. When we start the game, we're asked if we have brown hair or pink hair. Brown. And for the name, I chose Bateman. All because of the iconic scene from American Psycho.
I think he's lying.
Is that a gram?
Let it rip. We're then brought into this hub world here, and I think I'm going to start with free battle just to get used to the game. Also, I don't like how these two are staring at me. At least be like Germa over here and look in a different direction, jeez. So we don't even need to choose our OC in free battle. We can also be Tyson, Kai, I'm going to pick Bateman. And for my opponent, I'm going to go up against Dunga. Okay, it's time to start, and...
What? Oh no, launch missed!
Okay, not giving me much time to react. Maybe I have to mash the A button.
Let it rip! Go! Oh no, this is a weak launch!
Okay, so, I figure you have to hold down the A button, but I don't have the patience to continue. Next game. Now, I've never watched the anime that this game is based on, so don't hurt me. We're thrown right into the main menu first off. No title screen or anything. I've never played this game, so I'm gonna go to training so I can learn the controls. What do you mean I did it wrong? I punched them. What do you think jab means, game?
Very good, but can you perform it against an attacking opponent?
Well, I don't know, because for whatever reason, they won't attack. Well, may as well start the Dark Tournament itself, which is the story mode of this game. We start the game with what I'm guessing is an explanation of the anime story. There's a lot going on, Yusuke is fucking dead, but he's also a spirit detective. Basically, if you've seen the anime, then you'll have a better idea of
what the hell is going on
than I do. What mainly matters is that the Toguro brothers are still alive. Oh my god! Who the hell are the Toguro brothers?
Surely you didn't think you'd actually beaten me. Money decided that fight long before you entered the ring.
Okay. So they also fight. Learning by the minute here. Is his arm okay? It's not an old anime without that classic awkward English dubbing.
What? Amused is more like it.
Now it's time for the first fight. Toguro is supercharged, but he doesn't want to kill you here. He wants to face you at the Dark Tournament. Yeah, sure thing. And for our last game, we'll be taking a look at Godzilla Save the Earth. It's about time he did. This game was released for Godzilla's 50th anniversary back in 2004. I should mention now that Godzilla is old enough to be in a retirement home, playing chess against King Ghidorah, while his grandson comes to visit because he thinks his dad is a mob boss. And then later on he becomes a weird CGI thing because the actor died. So here on the main menu, we have a lot of options. Looks like we can create profiles. Pretty cool if I do say so myself. You know what? I'm gonna go with Leon. I'm just feeling that name today. There's also a high score section. I didn't know Salisbury University played this game. These are some very interesting names, like Jester. Alright, enough looking at the extra stuff, let's go into action mode. So to start off, we have 6 playable characters. Something interesting is they have both the 2000 and 90s version of Godzilla to choose from. These are the grandkids that visit him in the retirement home. You can also pick Gigan, Megalon, Rodan, and Anguirus. I'm gonna go with the easy pick of Godzilla 2000. He's definitely the beginner character, and it's the newer version. After choosing our character, we actually get a story. Now, I don't know the Godzilla lore that well, but this bitch is sending aliens to Earth, and Godzilla needs to fight them. Just another April. Alright, so our first opponent is Anguirus. The fighting controls in this game are interesting to say the least. I just ended up kicking Anguirus until I won. Hooray for me. The rest of the fights, or at least the ones I played, are just more of the same. So, that's all for Godzilla Save the Earth, and that's modern Atari. Of course, it's not very modern. I specifically chose the PS2 era. Mostly the PS2. But it still shows why Atari is more so known for their old school stuff. Whenever you hear Atari, you think of the 2600, the first major success in video games. The old, crunchy games. Atari, after they were bought by Infogrames, not nearly as iconic. And even with the iconic modern Atari games like the Matrix games or Indigo Prophecy, the fact that they are published by Atari isn't really brought up that much. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop asking for My Horse and Me to be included in the next Atari anthology.